Hiya! Today I'd like to unbox something for you. I've already opened the outer packaging, but the product itself is still in its wrapping. If you're new here, my name is Kama, also known as Weird is the Best, and I make mixed media art, comics, digital art, all kinds of creations. I love kind of swapping things around and changing things up. I've just released a sketchbook flip through, and today I'll be working on a new sketchbook, which is the same kind of size as my sketchbook flip through. I'll be using Art Creation by Royal Talents, and I might also use this one, which is the Onion Skin Journal, just because I use it quite often, so I might want to try the new materials in this one too. If that doesn't handle the new media very well, then I'll use the Odd Orange sketchbook, which is a mixed media stock. So without further ado, let's get into unboxing. So you might have seen this around, and I have also seen this around. And just as a heads up to start with, just so you know, these weren't sent to me. I bought these for myself, and I thought I'd try them out because I really like my Posca markers, and I just was curious about these. These are brush tip marker pens. So yeah, I was just reading. They are water-based, and I was like, water-based, but they are acrylic marker sets. So that's what I was expecting. So that's good. And there will be 36 colors inside, so there will be quite a lot of swatching. So let's start. Oops, I can just go. I'll just grab my knife. I have a tendency to be out of shot, so I'll just make a little bit more space. Okay. I think this is safer. So yeah, as I was saying, I discovered this on YouTube. I was seeing a lot of people using them, and I also heard about them on one of the Discords I'm in. So yeah, I just thought I'll give them a go. They're Arrtx Acrylic marker set. And here are the colors. Sorry for the shake. And they claim to be bright and opaque, and available on different surfaces, which I think what they mean by that is that you can paint on different surfaces. And yeah, they say that these color swatches are only for reference, because rarely colors of the markers, like in printed form, are the same as the actual markers themselves. And I was using acrylic markers mainly for like clay pin work, but I've been thinking about using this gouache a lot more, and I'm trying to kind of get my head into it and get over the fear of wasting the paint. And this is quite an affordable way of using acrylic, and then I can mix it with this gouache and other mixed media techniques. I have to say the packaging is quite attractive. I quite like the colors and everything. And it comes with this sticker set. And I've seen people stick them into their sketchbooks, but I will think about what I do with this, because I might want to put them on the markers themselves. So I'll leave that for now. There's a little thank you card. Art is a light that never dims. Thank you. Yeah, some details, some contact social media details, and so on. It's like a small business card. And the presentation, I don't think I can complain, because they were quite cheap, but it's not like the nicest presentation, I guess. Although, okay, I was kind of complaining a little bit, but actually they came in their separate boxes, and I quite like that because it helps me because I make a lot of mess when I'm creating, and they're actually nicely kind of yeah, it's easy to keep them neat. So that's a plus. They don't seem to be in any sort of order unless someone's already opened them before. It's kind of hard to tell. But I'll just start from left to right and keep going. So I think I'll put them to the side. I'll move this one out. I'll stick them here. I'll move that one out the way, and we can get started. And I think I might do this later because there's quite a lot of them, and I just realized it will be quite hard to fit all the colors on this page. So let's start with my favorite sketchbook at the moment. This is the Onion Skin Journal. It's from a American company, and it's the Onion Skin Journal is has like see-through pages. So let's get into swatching. I think white will, although this paper is quite creamy, so I might. Oh, I started by doing this motion, which is what you do with Posca pens, but I don't think these have like a ball inside. No. And they don't have a pump, although I've seen versions of these markers that do have a pump. These ones don't. Okay, I can still see it. I don't know if you can. I'm just going to quickly go and I'll label them after off camera. Or should I label them first? I probably should label them first, just so it's not... Okay, through the power of editing, all the labels are there. I just had a quick sip of water. Don't forget your water, kids. I'm going to carry on swatching them. I do hope they're in the right order, and I can't... It's very strange because none of them have numbers on them, so I can only guess. There's no way of knowing for sure, because nowhere on the pen there is a number, so I'm glad that there are stickers because I can put those stickers on the pens. Oops. And a tip, if you do have them, is I've seen someone demonstrate this. If you press lightly, it's not going to give much coverage, but if you press a bit harder, like so that the brush kind of bends a tiny amount, it then releases a bit more pigment, so it's more opaque. And I guess it gives you more control over, this paper is very thin, over how you paint and how much opacity you get. So you can use it to your advantage. I kind of thought that's kind of a neat sort of tip. So it just releases a bit more moisture, like liquid out. So far, these aren't necessarily my best colors, like my favorite colors, but I think they will be useful, especially the white ones, because I do paint a lot of skies and like landscapes. But I also I always underestimate like this sort of color and this like yellowy greeny yellow, I guess. So I think they will be quite useful. But so far, the feeling I'm getting from these is quite nice. Don't know if this is like where the what's it called? Like a small clip would go normally, but I don't particularly miss that, so it's not a problem for me. I guess it clips onto something. I'm not quite sure that's intended to be. Some nice kind of peachy, orangey colors. Quite like those. I wonder what the C stands for. Some of these have C. If you know, please do let me know, because they don't seem to follow, they don't seem to have anything distinguishing about them in terms of whether they have a C or not. Could be how much pigment they have, or how like saturated they are. I'm not quite sure. So yeah, if you do know, please let me know. Oh, I love this red, and I'm slowly getting into reds because I haven't really used red colors much, and I already went and got some orange materials, like drawing. English isn't my first language, and I forgot what you like, pens and pencils and things like that. So I have a few oranges or orange colored materials, but I don't really have many red, and this red is really lovely. And this blue, I can already see myself painting blue skies with this one. This is kind of sort of reminds me of periwinkle. Might be a bit brighter than that, a bit slightly different than periwinkle. That's my limited knowledge of color. But so far, this row is my favorite. And I'm biased towards blues, even though in the past I just thought there's just one blue. I didn't really use it much. Now I love it because it's so useful in landscapes. And it's also a beautiful color. So yeah, some really interesting colors. Some are more pastel, like this pink, and others are a lot more saturated, which is nice to have. It's nice to have a range, because like I was looking at pastel color sets from Arrtx. Oops, I hope I didn't mix it up. I really hope not. And yeah, I thought it would be a lot more, much more useful to get a whole set with pastel colors and more saturated colors, just for like having the range. If you've ever used Posca pens, they're a bit different. Their range is a bit more limited, but they are quite pricey, and they are quite good quality in my opinion. So I might compare these against a few Posca pens at the end, and I keep almost losing my space, so I'll just mark it there. You can see it, yeah. Some really fun colors and some like actually useful colors for landscapes. I don't think this set is particularly aimed at any sort of art. It didn't have any like specific name, other than it was like something D, whatever that means. I guess there's like A, B, C, D. That's just my guess. I haven't seen all of the sets. Lots of browns, not my favorite colors, but I found recently how useful, because if you're drawing landscapes, you're drawing trees as well. So these will be very useful for landscape drawings. And we're getting onto greens. This felt rather strange, but I guess pastel colors don't come out as nicely on this stock as the other types of colors. And it makes sense, like you would get that with paint and other things that are more pastel. This is really nice green. Getting into more saturated ones. This one has binder in it. A bit strange. I can't really press too much, go over too much this stock, because it's kind of starting to fray very quickly. This is much better, although I preferred the previous color in terms of what it looks like. And we're on to the last round. And I did notice a couple colors having a bit of binder in them. So maybe, I'm not sure, they probably have like a felt filling inside. So I don't think that shaking them will do much. Oh, I love this sage color. I'm not quite sure if that's sage, but absolutely nice, lovely color. Kind of turquoise. Really lovely color. I have never really used turquoise in any of my landscapes. I really don't know what to use it with, but I love the color. And I bought these markers and these paints to kind of do a bit more stylized work, so it's not just landscapes, but I did want it to have enough range to do landscapes with as well. A grey, I love a grey. There's a lot of that sort of color, maybe a bit lighter in the sky, like when you draw clouds and things like that. I kind of wish there was another grey that was a bit lighter, but I reckon I can use this kind of yellowy white. I guess it's like, I always forget the name of this color, buff titanium or something like that. Lovely blue, dark. This one has some kind of binder in it as well. Hopefully it's sort of like a first use kind of thing. Once you start using them more regularly, it goes away. I'm hoping for that. So I would say immediately what I think about these, like first thoughts. I think some colors are a bit less saturated, like strong, maybe not saturated, less opaque on the page, especially like this one, but it could be because of the stock I'm using it on. So let's try it on a different paper. The range is quite good. Let's see if they bleed. They don't bleed on this stock. And in fact, some of the colors come out stronger on the other side. And I do not believe they are light fast, although I haven't checked that. But I think if you buy something that's light fast, it's usually a bit more expensive than these pens. But also they would say somewhere on the packaging, and I haven't seen that yet. If I'm wrong, please correct me. I'd love to know if they are light fast, in fact. But I think I've seen someone test them under UV light, and a lot of these colors reacted to it, meaning that they are probably not light fast. Which is fine. Like even the expensive Holbein acrylic gouache, not all of them, or many of them, aren't light fast. So yeah, I guess that's standard. What should we do next? I think I was wondering what sketchbook to use next, but I think I will use my small sketchbook next, because this is what I use every day. And I use it quite a lot. In fact, in 50 days, I filled an entire sketchbook of 160 pages. And this one's already getting filled quite nicely, so I will be using it more. I don't know if I should use it because it's wet media. Yeah, let's try it and see what happens. This is how I'll be using it every day. Okay, and this is a Royal Talents Art Creations sketchbook, and it's natural white stock, which means that it's off-white. So if you're seeing kind of a yellowy page, that's what the sketchbook looks like in real life. So let's keep going. I wonder if there's an easy way to do this. So let's start with this 00. And it's nice to know that I can actually draw white on this paper, and it does show through. And in fact, I should probably show you an alternative. And this is one that I'll be using mostly, showing you mostly on my Patreon. So you'll need to sign up to Patreon to see me test this sketchbook. But it's also Art Creations, but it's a black one. And it's quite opaque, like from the first layer. and I've seen some like swatching videos, and it gets more opaque the more you layer it. Ooh, this is even better. So yeah, these two, the first two, 00 and C02, are quite opaque, even though they might not show like that on like more white stock or off-white stock. This one, I wasn't expecting to see much of it because it's basically the same color as this stock, this paper. So the next one, C03. Oops, I almost missed this spot, but obviously it's the same color as the stock. 03. Oh, lovely. This stock, this paper changes how your artwork looks because it's so warm. Warm in terms of, you know, it's more yellow than a neutral white. So everything looks a bit more warm and kind of friendly, I guess. I will keep the numbers, keep the colors in the same sort of rows as the other sketchbook, just for consistency. If you're here and you're like a seasoned artist or a brand new artist, like only just starting out, do let me know. I'd love to kind of find out more about you and where you are in your art journey. Maybe you're just doing it for a hobby, maybe you do it part-time or full-time, maybe it's your job or lifetime passion you've always drawn. I would love to hear that, and you know, just if you want to share that. I love this color. It's very nice, strong red, and in fact I wish I had this color earlier today because I was drawing some Japan landscapes and like cityscapes with Katie Moody on her Patreon, and this would have been perfect. But I can use it on the next session. Really lovely blue. I really wish they sold them as open stock, which means open stock means being able to buy single pens, but they don't, because I know that I'll be using this color a lot, so it won't last very long, I don't think. Yeah, my favorite row again. Definitely. There is something really satisfying about seeing them before they dry, and they dry really, really fast. Obviously, on this paper, they were shiny a bit longer, and that's because this paper is a bit more kind of smooth and shiny, and this one is just like matte. So the ink goes in really quickly, and I'll be interested to see if it bleeds, and it doesn't, thankfully, because I was about to ruin this piece, but thankfully I didn't. And last one in this row, 42. Yeah, there's something satisfying about using these pens, and I sort of bought these in the hopes of finding more joy in drawing. Not that I don't find joy in drawing, because I do find a lot of peace and joy in my art practice, but I just wanted something new, satisfying, and exciting, and something that I can like experiment with. And they definitely don't disappoint. The way they come on the page, like almost like a block of color, is very, very, it's definitely what I expected from them, and it's really cool. Put it down before I took the next one out. I just realized that I probably pressed them a bit too much, because I noticed like some lines, extra lines coming through. I can't really show you very well on camera, but I'll try and press less. Because a felt tip will fray a lot quicker than a brush tip, and that's just the nature of the product. Just the way these kinds of things are. but so far, absolutely, I'm very happy with these. I also haven't seen anyone like test how long they last, because I'm sort of, you know, it's natural to expect them to last long if it's a cheap product. And they came up to about £1, maybe £1.20, maybe slightly less per pen. So compared to a Posca pen, it's quite a low price. So I wouldn't expect them to last forever. What is it about this color that makes it look so good? I don't know. And this, it's very different on this paper. I'll show you in comparison, like side by side in a second. Yeah, this gray might be a bit too dark for sky, but it will be alright for like mountains maybe, or like stones, cliffs. Trying to remember English words for a second. And the last two. Yeah, I'm not seeing that binder much in this swatching, so I think it was just a fluke, because like paint can separate in a container. And this black, or like, is one of the disappointing colors, because it comes on the page really opaque and then it goes patchy. So I just added extra layers, just like 3 layers, just to see. It's still not perfect. The rest of them are pretty, like maybe apart from this like minty color, everything else looks very opaque. Okay, so let's compare them now. So this is also slightly yellowy color, especially when you look at it in this way. It's very different. But I like to have a piece of paper in between, and when I scan my work, I always put in, because the pages kind of show up through the back of each page, I scan it with a piece of paper in between the pages anyway. So here are the colors. Just going to zoom in. Okay. So the first row with all their numbers, 00, C02, C03, 03, 09, C14. Definitely look much better on like a more solid stock. C15, 17, 18, C19, C21, 26, 28, 31, 34, 35, 38, 42. Oops, I just realized I wasn't showing you. So let's go back. 28, 31, 34, 35, 38, 42. And there's 44, 46, 49, C51, C52, 53. C53, C54, C56, 56, 61, and C61. And then we have the last row, 63, 66, 70, 75, 80, and 98. And you can see a clear difference between these two grays. To me, they look very different. So just something to bear in mind, that it all depends on your sketchbook. But I do love like almost all of them, the way they look, especially on this paper. Like a few patchy ones, and especially the black. Yeah, I would almost prefer like dark indigo instead of the black. I don't really use black much anyway. but if I did use it, I would want it to be more opaque. Everything else looks really lovely. And I think they will also work very well on black stock. So I was going to do a little bit of art, but I'm having performance anxiety. I feel like I need to play with them a bit and then create something with them. And also I would like to record a video just for my patrons right now, because I have some materials I wanted to test with them. But I hope this was helpful in some way, if you're not decided, or if you just wanted to see a swatching of them. I hope this was useful. If you have any questions about them, do let me know in the comments. Also let me know if it's useful or if you'd like to see anything else. I was going to compare Poscas, so I'll just try and find similar colors and I'll be back in a sec. Okay, I found some. Magically came back very quickly. So I have a few Posca pens and I have a sort of love-hate relationship with them. Some of them are perfect, some of them aren't, and the nibs, sadly, most of them are like bullet tip. They're quite hard, as opposed to Arrtx, which are very soft and bendy. And I think maybe this nib is better when you're painting on hard surfaces, on like fabrics and things like that as well. But it can damage the paper, especially on like cheap sketchbooks. So with Posca, you do shake it. There's like a bit inside. It's not a ball. There's something inside that mixes the paint, I guess. And generally, you kind of pump it up to get the ink going or the paint going. But this one is already like prepared. So I'm just going to go straight into... I'm just going to move this out of the way. And I brought a few Crink marker pens, which are very similar, but I don't know if there are any similar colors, so we'll see. We'll see if I use them in a second. I also have, so the black, 100% better with Posca. Like, there's no comparison. One layer, and it didn't soak into the page. This Posca, I use it a lot, and it's kind of like it's a special tip. Like chisel tip. It's a very big one. And I think it's similar to either one of these two. So I'm just going to swatch it here. And then I'll put... And with this particular one, I find I have to layer a couple layers of it, or it's a bit patchy. Although I could pump it up a bit, but it's dangerous, especially on like actual page, because it might leak. Yeah, I got used to it, but for the purpose of testing, I don't think any of this is exactly the same, but I think maybe this one is the closest. I really have to label them as soon as possible. So this one, yeah, way more pink, but sort of similar. What else do we have? Like dark blue. It's kind of similar. So this one's an even smaller tip than the first one. This one's PC1M, which is 0.7 millimeters, quite small. It's gone a bit watery, but this is, I've had this pen, this marker for, how long have I had it for? Like since 2017 or 18. So I think it's gone funny. But once I pumped the paint and the water came out, it's back to normal. So yeah, I'm not surprised, because yeah, I haven't used it for such a long time. It's gone a bit unmixed. But it's kind of similar to this. I can't really draw more, so my love and hate relationship with Posca is because of their hard nibs and me using them in sketchbooks, they often kind of damage the paper to the point where I can't draw on them anymore. I'm sure if I use better paper, like mixed media stock, it would be much better, but that's not what I normally use. So there's nothing against them in that regard. It's just not what I use, how I use them. So there's also this one. I'll put it here for better comparison. And I just noticed a second ago that they are bleeding, but so is the black. So both brands can bleed when you layer them a lot. I also found these two pinks. They're not exactly the same, but they are close enough. Great. I just made a mess and it's all over my top, so give me a sec. Well, that was fun. Not? Just grabbing a tissue. Just to clean that up. I should have shaken it when it's still closed, and in fact they show it this way. I did not think this through, did I? So there's a bit of paint everywhere. I guess this is also... Okay, that's kind of better. So it's a very scratchy feeling. But nothing wrong with it. Apart from the leakage, I guess. So Posca on the left and Arrtx on the right. Oops, this is A, P, P, A. Just so I remember exactly what's what. I don't know how long I should go for because I do have quite a few Poscas. Yeah, this has gone a bit patchy, but I think the situation is the same. It's been lying in this box for quite a few years. And yeah, I don't often use Poscas because they were too scratchy for me. And I haven't done like clay pins for quite a while, so I didn't really need those pens as much. And I could go on and keep doing this, but I think you get the gist. I'm not quite sure about Arrtx, but Posca do like different effects pens. So this one's gold, and I don't want to like pump it on camera because if I make a mess, it will be a mess. I usually do it on like a separate piece of paper. I did it anyway. So it's quite useful to have like all these different sort of effects, and they do fluorescent. So this one's pink, which I absolutely love. There's also like, Posca isn't the only brand, and there are also different brands like Pilot does them too. And I love a white just because it's so useful. So this one's sort of cool light. It's very similar to the one by Arrtx. And yeah, I could keep going. Some of the Posca colors are more saturated, like more watery than others. and some of them are just spot on. Especially like the pastel colors. I don't think they've, at the time I got these, they've nailed like a recipe. But this orange one is quite nice. Posca, 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 Pilot. I think this was the one. I think that kind of demonstrates enough. And a good thing about Poscas is, yeah, like I said, different sizes. I kind of made this dirty, but that all like gets cleaned once you start using it. Like they have fluorescent, they have silver, they have a few that have a brush pen. So like I have a white and black in a brush. This one's a brush pen. And I've seen I wonder if this is refillable. Not that I didn't know that Posca were refillable, but now I look at it, like, why would this turn? Oh, it's a top button. And I've seen Arrtx claiming that they have a unique some of their markers that I found had a pump at the top instead of like Posca pumping at the bottom when you like press it down. And they had like a pump at the top, and it said it was like their own, like they were the only people doing it. But no, they're not, because Posca have been doing it for a long time. I think that's it. There's not that much more to show. I could keep going with all my Poscas. Let me know if you'd like to, but it's getting quite, like the video is getting quite long, so I'll stop there. As a very quick comparison, there's also Kring. I was very excited for these. I love their colors, but they fray and they run out very quickly. So even though they're great, I found them slightly less satisfying than Poscas. And they're like watery, sort of, they're alright. I can't remember which one ran out. This blue one ran out quite quickly. But overall, it's the same sort of thing. So if you never tried them, maybe try once or twice, see how you like them. Let me know in the comments if you've ever tried them, or if you have any alternatives. Not that I need any more, because I already have quite a few. But yeah, whenever I see a new kind of brand or type of pen or brush or marker, I like to try them out just to know, you know, pick what I prefer. So these were that sort of experiment. I didn't show it, but Kring also do like special colors like gold, silver and so on. Okay, I could talk about art supplies all day long, but you haven't got all day. And YouTube doesn't have all day, because this video needs to be processed when I record it, when I upload it. I'm talking rubbish now, so I'm going to finish here. I hope you found this useful. If you did, please let me know. Let me know if you'd like me to try anything else. I'm still waiting for a brand to approach me for me to test their materials. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty impressed. We'll see how they fare when I actually start using them. And I think they will layer on top of other colors. Once they dry, they shouldn't kind of pick up other colors. I found that with Poscas they do sometimes, so it might be a similar sort of situation. But because the tip is a bit less hard, so you don't have to press and scratch as much, it might be less of an issue. Like, I don't think I'm explaining it very well, but like when you draw pink on top of blue, it shouldn't pick up much color, but sometimes I found that it did. So yeah, that will be interesting to test. Yeah, if you want me to draw anything specific, I'm always open to suggestions. Do let me know what you thought, whether you tried them, whether you have any other brands or your favorites from this pack or overall. What else was I going to say? I always love reading your comments down below, so do leave me a note. I love checking them out. We're all friends here, I hope. And I think I will end here. I always get a bit awkward at the end of my videos. I don't like that side of things, but it has to be said, I guess. Yeah, check out my links below. I won't go too much into those. And until next time, bye! Have a lovely day artsing! Bye! Ta-da!